Greetings, jocks! This is the recap of Black Summoner. It's about Kelvin, who wakes up in a strange new world with no memory of his past life in the exchange for powerful new abilities. Before we get started, we wanted to take a moment and ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon below. It will notify you the second we drop a new video. In Episode 1, by the mistake of a god, a young man named Kelvin dies and agrees to be reincarnated into a new world with skills he chooses himself, in exchange for all memories except his name taken. Awakening in the new world, he finds he chose to be a summoner mage and the goddess of reincarnation. Melfina is now his servant in the form of an interactive game menu. Arriving in the town of Parth, he joins the Adventurers Guild as a basic mage, keeping his summoner skill secret, as Melfina explains summoners are so rare and powerful, kings and nations would start wars to acquire him. He learns from Melfina that before reincarnating, he made his summoner class rank S, the highest possible, making him the most powerful living summoner. And as he is still only level 1, he will become even more powerful as his level increases. His skill also provides a massive boost to his summons, as Clotho is now 100 times stronger. Returning to Parth, he is disturbed to find slavery is common in this world, but tries not to think about it, and instead rents a room for the night. If you are interested and want to know about the ratings, watch till the end. Thank you. In Episode 2, Kelvin is quickly promoted to E rank. D rank adventurer Cashel, who seeks to humiliate Kelvin, advises him to hunt a monster known as a Black Ghost Knight. With his appraisal skill, Kelvin sees that Cashel is titled as a murderer, so instead of joining him, he suggests a contest, Kelvin against Cashel's entire party. Cashel and his criminal party members, Jimmel and Raj, plot to murder Kelvin. Cashel is easily beaten up by Kelvin and confesses to hunting low-rank adventurers for experience, so they are arrested. Kelvin locates the Black Ghost Knight, who already has a personality and a name, Gerard. Gerard is able to explain he was once a human knight, but became a monster after he died. After a short duel to gauge each other's strength, Gerard abruptly remembers the kingdom he once served. Al-Karl was destroyed by an elf named Gildora when Al-Karl would not help the Lizzie Empire destroy the Holy Empire of Duramis. In Episode 3, Kelvin meets Guildmaster Leo, who asks if Kelvin came from another world, showing that his appraisal skill is more powerful than Kelvin's concealment skill, so he can see he is a summoner. Leo admits he knew Cashel was a murderer, but as Cashel was a foreign noble, he needed proof, so he is grateful to Kelvin. He also reveals other reincarnations were summoned as the current heroes of the Duramis Empire to face a demon lord. So Leo wants Kelvin to instead focus on the monsters that have become more powerful due to the Demon Lord's influence. Kelvin agrees and decides to purchase a female slave to train and add her to his team. He seeks out the slave he saw on his first day, a beautiful half-elf named Ephil, who so far has not been sold due to being under a curse that burns those who touch her. Returning to his lodgings, Ephil is taken under the wing of Claire, his landlady, while Kelvin shows her how to use her previously unspent skill points. Kelvin is unable to sleep that night as he is forced to share his bed with Ephil. In Episode 4, Ephil becomes a deadly archer and gains an affinity for fire due to her previous curse. She also befriends Angie, a guild secretary. Tabara, third prince of Trison, arrogantly confronts and attempts to grab Angie and Ephil, so Kelvin beats up his guards. Ephil tells Kelvin she has fallen in love with him, but Kelvin resists his desire as she is still a slave and he feels he would be taking advantage. Melfina informs Kelvin the 4 heroes are weaker than she was expecting, as Kelvin has almost surpassed them. Leo sends Kelvin to deal with a demon sealed in a cave. Kelvin finds 2 demons, the Archdemon Victor, guarding a demon girl named Sarah, daughter to the most recently defeated Demon Lord Gustav. He will then eat Sarah and become the next Demon Lord himself. Kelvin begins smiling and Melfina and Gerard reveal to Ephil Kelvin has an unfortunate habit. He is a total battle junkie. The more powerful his opponents, the more excited he becomes. In Episode 5, Victor attacks but is weakened by Clotho draining his magic. and his arms are destroyed by Eiffels' arrows and Gerard's sword. Victor assumes his full demonic form, but against their teamwork he is still defeated. A stone pillar almost falls on Sarah until Victor saves her. Victor admits he was never going to eat Sarah. In reality, Victor once trained and took care of Sarah when she was young and was assigned to guard her by her father Gustav. Before he was defeated by the hero, Gustav cast a spell on Sarah, sealing her away so only a human could unseal her, and Victor has guarded her ever since. As his dying request, Victor asks Kelvin to add Sarah to his party so she can finally see the world. Kelvin agrees and Victor dies peacefully. Kelvin reports to Leo and is promoted to rank A for defeating Victor. Angie organizes a celebration on Kelvin's promotion. After everyone passes out drunk, Kelvin finds Sarah mourning for Victor, who was her only childhood companion. She decides to experience the entire world in Victor's memory, in particular, to see the ocean and learn to swim like Victor once promised her. In episode 6, having tamed Sarah, Kelvin crafts her armor from Victor's armor and also a new sword, Dainsleif, for Gerard. Kelvin has a sudden powerful hunger for rice, so they all travel to the water kingdom of Toraj and its capital coastal city, where rice can be found and Sarah can swim in the ocean. Melfina disappears again, claiming she hopes to possess one of her avatars and finally appear in the physical world. Gerard privately suspects Melfina is jealous Kelvin has 2 other ladies in his party. On the journey, they are attacked by the bandit gang Black Wind, who want Sarah and Eiffel for the slave trade. Sarah enjoys defeating them before Kelvin interrogates them. Kelvin informs Toraj Guild leader Mist that the Black Wind's secret leader is a famous adventurer from Tryson named Kristoff, who is secretly involved in the illegal slave trade. In episode 7, Kelvin finally meets the heroes, sword wielders Tuya and Setsuna, and mages Nana and Miyabi. Kelvin challenges them to a fight against him, with the losing side having to obey one order from the winner. Beginning the duel, Kelvin reveals his new equipment Skill Eater, which are gloves that absorb other people's unique skills and allow Kelvin to use them. Kelvin thoroughly criticizes their amateur approach and gives them hints on how to improve. The heroes succeed in trapping him in an anti-magic trap, so Kelvin uses parallel processing to invent a brand new spell and frees himself. All 4 heroes are defeated, but when they awaken, the heroes realize Kelvin only fought them to measure their abilities and help them improve, and thank him. Kelvin reminds them they promised to obey one order, so he demands they strip their clothes. In episode 8, Kelvin changes the heroes into swim clothes and takes them to a sea cave to train against a giant octopus. Kelvin notes they almost lost to the octopus, so they stand no chance against a dungeon boss, and the demon lord would kill them without effort. Sarah locates a dungeon boss dragon. The heroes decide to fight it, which impresses Kelvin with their resolve, so he gives them a break and defeats the dragon himself. The heroes leave, so Kelvin gives them necklaces he enchanted himself. Kelvin is summoned by the Queen of Toraj, Tsubaki Fujiwara, and realizes from her castle architecture and her family name that one of her ancestors must have been Japanese. She thanks him for defeating Black Wind and the dragon, and is surprised when Kelvin requests only rice, so she rewards him with a lifetime supply and even teaches Eiffel Japanese cuisine. In Parth, Kelvin purchases a large house and also hires 2 of the slaves he freed from Black Wind, Ellie and her daughter Luca, as household servants. Melfina returns with her avatar body, and Kelvin is able to summon her into the physical world for the first time. In episode 9, Melfina rewards Kelvin with her Grace of Resurrection, which can save him from any fatal attack once a month, and also allows him to summon a hero from Japan, but this can only be used once in his lifetime. This worries Kelvin, as it would mean forcing someone to come to this world against their will. He shares his worries with Melfina, who explains that demon lords all possesses the skill Papias, which causes insanity and makes them invulnerable to all damage. Thus, the only ones who can kill them are summoned heroes. Since they come from other worlds, their magic is fundamentally different. Kelvin still feels guilty, so Melfina tells him to only summon people who have already died, so that it feels less like kidnap and more like a second chance. Kelvin decides to reincarnate a hero immediately. Casting the spell, Kelvin summons a young girl named Rio, the strongest hero from all of Japan. As she is the only other person Kelvin has seen with black hair, he decides Rio should pose as his younger half-sister. Rio also decides to change her name to Ryan. In episode 10, Kelvin awakens and finds Sarah, Melfina, and Ryan have all snuck into his bed. Kelvin decides for their own safety Ryan, Ellie, and Luca should level up, so with his XP sharing skill, he increases their levels without them having to fight. Kelvin learns Guildmaster Leo has put him forward for a promotion exam to rank S elsewhere. The Emperor of Tryson is disappointed at Kristoff's failure, as his exposure is an international embarrassment to Tryson, especially with the kingdoms of Gon, Toraj, and Daramis considering forming an alliance against them. Princess Grad and General Tristan vote to go to war immediately. General Dan and Princess Shutola vote to wait for better conditions in which to start a war. In episode 11, Leo informs Kelvin Tryson has been increasing aggression against Gon Kingdom. He sends Kelvin on his rank S promotion exam to complete a job for Leonhart Gon, Beast King of Gon, by slaying a rank S monster to save an elven village. Elven Chief Nellis mistakes Ephil for his own daughter, Lumel, but realizes his mistake. Kelvin is curious about Lumel, and Nellis explains 20 years ago, Lumel offered herself as sacrifice to save the village from a dragon. The dragon took her as his wife, but years later, Lumel was found dead, and fearing the dragon's return, the elves fled to Gon. Their commander avoids capture by controlling the rank S monster, a Gigant Lord. The Gigant is defeated by Rian and Alex, only to transform into a flaming Gigant furnace. Ryan defeats it again anyway and captures the commander. General Clive appears and almost kills Ephil, who is saved by Kelvin. Kelvin realizes Clive is strong and feels his battle junkie instincts rising. In episode 12, Clive tries to hypnotize Ephil into becoming his sex slave, but Kelvin defends her. He realizes Clive is also a reincarnation with a unique hypnosis skill. Clive brags his hypnosis, lets him do whatever he wants to anybody for his personal amusement. Kelvin is forced to use his most powerful magic staff, the rank S Black Disaster. Tristan has Clive imprisoned and puts his own sex slaves in charge of torturing him for experimentation to see if reincarnations have any scientific value. Kelvin decides he must grow his power even further. Kelvin is now promoted to S rank. He also reveals there will be an official promotion ceremony that will include a mock battle against existing S rank adventurers. Everyone is exasperated when the idea of fighting other S rank warriors ignites Kelvin's battle junkie instincts again. I have rated this anime 4 out of 5. How much you all would rate? Tell us by leaving a comment. We hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like down below. Please tell us which one is your favorite, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our old videos too so you can get caught up. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.